Hello and welcome to my presentation on my Shining Revelry meta watch list. So, a little warning beforehand, I'm kinda dumb. I'm the type of person who thought Jordigan would not be meta at all. It was. I'm also the type of person who thought they can do this in 2 hours, and it took a lot more than 2 hours to make this video. Making presentations is a little hard. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the first mon. So I believe that Wigglytuff is actually going to be a pretty decent option. It has a nice 20 healing to the active Pokemon. It's colorless, so you can put it on most decks, and if you have that old promo Jigglypuff, you can put like the active Mon to sleep, and then switch to your attacker, and then heal that attacker. I think it can work pretty well. The main issue is that it's competing with Shaman. Shaman's a basic Pokemon, and it can heal all of your Mons for 10 health, while Wigglytuff can only heal the active for 20. And since it's a stage 1, you're not going to be able to get it onto the field immediately, since you got to get Jigglypuff and then Wigglytuff. But I still think it will at least have a nice niche in the meta, despite all of those downsides. So the next mon I have is Clodsire EX. It is a mon that needs the opponent to be poisoned, and that would allow it to hit for 120 damage with only 2 energy. That's really powerful. It can work with the new Grafaiai, because Grafaiai can poison from the bench on a coin flip, and Weavile can finish off any poison Pokemon that Clodsire isn't able to. So I think both of those work pretty well with Clodsire. The main issue right now is that it is kind of hard countered by RCCX with its ability just making it immune to poison, so Clodsire can never hit it for max damage. It also doesn't work too well with the OG Poisonmon Wheezing, because Clodsire has a 3 retreat cost, which makes it a little rough to constantly switch it out to Wheezing, Poison, switch it back in. That's not really going to work. But once Arceus comes out of the meta, I can see Clodsire being a really nice option, and maybe you could even see some good use even while Arceus is in the meta. So next up, I think Meowscarada is going to be a pretty decent option. It's a 2-stage mon that only needs 2 energy to do 130 damage to EX mons. That is incredibly good. Sprigatito can also call in grass-type Pokemon with its attack, so the Masquerada being a stage 2 isn't as big of a deal, but it's still kind of an issue for consistency's sake. Getting Meowscarada isn't always going to be an easy task, and if your opponent isn't really using EX cards, then Meowscarada isn't going to be doing very well at all. But there's always most decks tend to have EXs in there, and Meowscarada will do good against those, so I think it'll be a pretty solid option. And also, I think all the trainer cards in general are going to be pretty either completely meta or at least a good niche. The Team Rocket Grunts, or as I like to call them, Reverse Misty, not going to be as good as Misty, but it's still going to be a really nice option. Just being able to remove energy like that is really strong, and it'll combo with a mon I'm going to speak about soon. Nurse Joy is another supporter that heals and can even cure status conditions, which is another counter to Clodsire, but it can. So I think it will have a niche. Like Erica was always really good, and that heals 50. Nurse Joy only heals a bit less, but it's still going to be really good despite that. And red is literally just 2 Giovanni's as long as you're facing an EX. Like that's going to be used. There's no way it's not going to be used. That's really good. Iono might flop because cards like Red Card have shown to not be the best, but Iono can really help with stage 2s, like the earlier mentioned Meowscarada, so I think it can have some really nice usage potentially. And before I get to what I think will be the best card, let's go over some honorable mentions. Goldengo is basically a Steel-type Stage 1 Celebi EX that only gives 1 point on defeat. So I think it will pair really well with Dialga EX, and this could be a pretty good mon. I might also just be biased, I really like Goldengo. Promo Floatzel is just basically just Weavile, but just a water type and not an EX. It could have some use, but it doesn't have the synergies that Weavile has, so I'm not super sure about it. Giratina EX is interesting. It's either going to be incredibly powerful or just god awful. I don't really know. I can't really tell with it. Who knows? Lucario EX can cook, but it not synergizing with the original Lucario is going to be an issue, but I'll cope. I'll keep coping. And Wugdro EX probably sucks, but I think it's really funny. And this is what I think is going to be the strongest card. Beedrill EX. Weedle and Kakuna are both pretty decent. Especially Kakuna, since it can just paralyze the opponent like pretty easily. And despite being a stage 2, it has a really low energy cost, only 2 grass energy like Meowscarada. And it has a guaranteed energy removal on its attack, which is really good, and it can synergize incredibly well with the Rocket Grunt. If you manage to remove multiple enemies, your opponent might just be screwed. It does have really low damage for stage 2 EX, only doing 80 damage. And against 1 energy cards, that energy removal isn't going to matter like too much, outside of preventing them from setting up the bench. And it is also a stage 2, so again, it's going to have those consistency issues, but if Iono does work with stage 2s like I think it will, Beedrill EX can pop off. I think it will. But we gotta talk about the best card in the set. Crown Pokeball is going to be a peak of the meta. Every deck is going to need it, and it just looks awesome, but it's going to cost an absurd amount of money. I'm broke. I'm going to take out 10 loans to get this card. Who knows if I can get it? But this is a must-have for every deck. You don't want to use the peasant-free Pokeball. You need that Crown Gold Pokeball, baby. And that's my meta highlights. Thank you very much for watching, and please leave video ideas in the comments, because I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Thank you.